Life is full of surprises. No matter whatever you do, you won't be able to escape karma, because it will always come behind you, haunting you until you get punished. Taeyang felt like he was dreaming. He couldn't believe finally he got his mate, his Jungkook, whom he never thought he'll be able to make his. That night after he confessed to Jungkook, he felt like finally he got some peace, making everything feel right once again. But fate is a bit cruel. It won't let you find peace without any chaos. Next morning, Taeyang left for the university as early as he could, since he was desperate to have a glimpse of his Jungkookie before university starts. He waited and waited at the gate while staring at his last message sent to Jungkook, which was left unread. But Jungkook didn't came, nor he got any reply from Jungkook, which made him restless. He didn't know why, but felt something was wrong. Next 2 to 3 days was the hardest for Taeyang. He was feeling devastated without being able to find anything about Jungkook. He tried to call Suga, but he was also unreachable, which made an unknown fear start to flood into his heart. Jimin was also worried about Suga since he didn't got any information of him. Finally, after waiting exactly for 1 week, Jimin got a reply from Suga saying that they had gone to visit one of their closest business partners in Seoul, which finally gave some relief to both Taeyang and Jimin. No matter how he tried to feel normal, Jungkook's silence kept killing him. Time skipped after some days. Taeyang was on the cafeteria when he saw Jungkook, who was approaching the cafeteria with Suga while displaying a cute smile. Taeyang immediately stood up as a wave of happiness hit through him, making him approach Jungkook. But before he even took 2 steps ahead, his body held on the spot as he tightened his fist. His body went numb unknowingly as his eyes turned blood red, seeing the scene in front of him. Jungkook was holding hands with an alpha while sweetly talking with him, making the whole cafeteria start gossiping about the sight in front of them immediately. Girl 1, wow, look at them. Jungkook has got himself a boyfriend. Boy 1, oh my, who's that boy? Girl 2, is he the new boy whom everyone was talking about? Girl 3, damn, he's so handsome. The girls start to squeal, fangirling over the male alpha, making Taeyang's blood boil. Boy 2, it seems like they are dating. Just look at how they are holding hands. Another boy said, making Taeyang's heart ache at the sight. That's when Suga, who was accompanying Jungkook, and the other boy saw Taeyang, who was standing on the middle of the cafeteria like he had seen some ghost. Suga scratched his nose bridge as soon as he saw Taeyang, patting the shoulder of the other boy like he was bidding him good luck, immediately leaving the sight. That's when Jungkook's eyes fell on Taeyang, who was directly staring at him with no expressions. But as soon as their eyes met, Jungkook looked at the other side like Taeyang's presence was nothing to him, smiling with the other boy approaching a pair of vacant seats, making Taeyang's heart break into pieces. He never expected Jungkook would ignore him like this, like he was nothing. Taeyang trembled as he took his steps back, sitting on his seat, once again unknowingly, as he watched how Jungkook was eating with that boy, chatting with him. Taeyang felt like his heart was getting crushed by someone. He could still hear how the girls and boys in the cafeteria kept talking about Jungkook and the boy. Taeyang dashed out of the cafeteria as he slammed the washroom door, making himself support against the sink, splashing some water to his face to calm himself down. He was restless and wanted to hear whatever the thing which was happening at the moment from Jungkook's mouth itself. Yoonshik, Tae, hey, calm down. Don't make wrong assumptions, okay? One of Taeyang's friends came after him as they noticed the scene at the cafeteria. Tae, how the hell am I supposed to stay calm after seeing my mate holding hands with another alpha, huh? He shouted as he pulled his own hair slightly in anger, getting frustrated. Bogum, shh, buddy. First meet Jungkook and ask about it directly. I'm sure this is a misunderstanding. Tae, then why did he ignore me like I was nothing to him, huh? Yoonshik, Tae, listen, he might be someone close to Jungkook. Just don't let anger consume you. Come, let's go and meet him. Staying here cursing won't make anything better, he said as he hugged Taeyang. trying to convince him. Jungkook was walking on the corridor when he was pulled inside an empty classroom, getting pinned onto the wall, making his breath hitch as his eyes met with the blood-red eyes of Taeyang. Tae, who is he? He growled, making Jungkook scared for a second, making his breath heavier. JK, what the hell are you doing, Taeyang? Leave me. He tried to push Taeyang, struggling to get free from Taeyang's hold. Tae, I asked you something, damn it. Who is he? JK, none of your business, Taeyang. He shouted back with an equal strength. Tae, none of my business, huh? None of my business, right? He repeated with a sarcastic chuckle as he punched the wall next to Jungkook, making his wrist bleed, making Jungkook jump on the spot. Taeyang grabbed Jungkook's jaw as he directly stared at his eyes, while his other hand was pulling Jungkook's waist, crushing Jungkook against him. Taeyang grabbed Jungkook's jaw as he directly stared at his eyes, while his other hand was pulling Jungkook's waist, crushing Jungkook against him. Tae, I'm your mate, Jungkook. I'm your mate. Can't you remember? We confessed to ourselves and promised to love each other, he said with a trembling voice as his voice became softer. Then why, my love? Why are you behaving like this? Tell me, what did I do wrong? I'll correct myself, Bab. Just don't turn your back on me. Hey, what happened, Jungkook? We were all good last day. Even Suga agreed to our relationship. So what's bothering you now, Bab? They sat leaning on Jungkook, placing his forehead on Jungkook, getting closer to Jungkook, leaving no space between them, almost making their touch making Jungkook's eyes close due to the closeness. Taeyang was about to Jungkook when Jungkook turned his head to the other side, pushing Taeyang, making him move a few steps away from Jungkook. Tae, Jungkook, his voice slightly trembled due to the rejection. Jungkook took a deep breath this time as he looked directly into Taeyang's eyes, making Taeyang nervous in front of Jungkook for the first time in his life. JK, I want you to forget about us, he said in one go, making Taeyang speechless. Tae, what? JK, I want you to forget about us and move on like we never had anything. Tae, what the hell are you talking about, Jungkook? Huh? Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind, huh? He shouted as anger was visible in his eyes. JK, yeah, I have gone crazy, he said, chuckling sarcastically. What are you gonna do about it, huh? And I'm out of my mind too. That's why I accepted you in the first place, even after everything you did to me, he shouted back. Tae, Jungkook, listen, Bab, calm down. What's wrong with you? Why are you behaving like this? He said with a shaky voice as his eyes filled with tears, clearly showing how hurt he was, making Jungkook feel pity for him. Did I do something wrong? Which made you angry, my love? He said as he held Jungkook's cheeks, kissing it softly in an apologetic manner. Jungkook ached his body, feeling Taeyang's soft touch. It was the first time he was feeling Taeyang's soft touch, but still he had decided to make it their last, no matter how much desperate he felt in front of Taeyang's touch. Jungkook didn't know how long he stayed, melted by Taeyang's touch, until he pushed Taeyang away from him. Once the realization hit him, JK, Taeyang, don't act like you're so in love with me, okay? He said sarcastically. You hated me from the guts till the last day, and then you started to love me all of a sudden? Right, huh? Do you take me as a fool? They, Jungkook, I've been in love with you since a long time, but it's just I just realized it too late. You know? Thank's words were more like a plead. JK, oh really? Is that why you were treating me like then? Huh? They, but what are you even saying? I know I treated you bad, and I'm ready to make it up to you for my whole damn life. But don't just push me away. I know I hurted you, but I want to erase that same pain from you desperately, my love. Please just give me one last chance. I'm your mate. You know we can't live without each other. JK, huh? He chuckled. Look who's talking. Aren't you the same person who said that you'll reject your mate if you don't like him, huh? Tae, Jungkook, please. I know you are upset. Just tell me what's wrong. Taeyang kept pleading while Jungkook kept being silent, like he had nothing, which triggered Taeyang. JK, it's just I don't love you anymore, Taeyang. I'm over of my feeling for you. Tae, what are you saying? Do you know what are you saying? JK, I'm well aware of what I'm saying, Taeyang, and I don't love you anymore. Tae, you're lying, Jungkook. You're lying. Tae exhaled sharply with a disappointed chuckle. He let out a laugh like a maniac. Are you kidding me, Jungkook? And if so, then why the hell did you accept me that day, huh? You promised me and accepted me. You even forgave me. Why did you do that then? Tang didn't know why he was feeling too heartbroken, like he got betrayed by someone whom he had loved his whole life, even though it haven't been just few days since they started dating as a couple. Why did you make me feel like I'm your whole damn world and then crush it in the next second like I was nothing? JK, have you had felt my feelings if I haven't done that? Huh? It was your punishment day. Jungkook shouted, making himself surprised plus panic at the same time as he covered his mouth immediately. Jungkook didn't know when those words came out of his mouth out of sudden, which made him freeze on the spot, including Taeyang, who looked at Jungkook in surprise. Tae, what did you say? No, Jungkook, please don't do this, my love. Please, Jungkookie, tell me I'm ready to bear any punishment for all the fault I have done, love. He said, pulling Jungkook closer, trying to cup his face while his eyes were shining with some hope. But before Taeyang hugged him, Jungkook pushed Taeyang harshly once again as he slapped Taeyang across the face, which immediately made Taeyang come back to his sense. JK, why the hell it's so hard for you to understand? We are no match for each other. Jungkook shouted this time little bit louder than usual. But that's when the realization hit him as Jungkook fisted his hand, which he slapped Tae with an unknown emotion, which may be the guilt. The next few minutes were pure silence. None of them knew what to say. JK, that's it, Taeyang. I'm leaving. Jungkook was about to leave when he heard Taeyang's voice once again. Tae, then what about our maid bond? You said you loved me first and came behind me like I'm your whole world, and now you're telling me that we are no match for each other and you don't love me anymore. What's the meaning of this, Jungkook? Tell me. Ask me, damn it. JK, maybe what I had for you wasn't true love, Taeyang. I might have never really loved you, Tae. Maybe that's why I fell out of love with you, he said, making Taeyang stumbled back, making him hard to breathe. Maybe it might had just been the attraction of our mate bond, but nothing else. Tae, just an attraction? Is that what you said? JK, yes, just the attraction. When I first felt our mate bond, it felt magical. Maybe I mistook it as love, but after thinking so long, now only I realize that the mate bond I thought as love it's not just enough. Hey, Cookie, please, give me one last chance, please. I'll make it right. I promise I'll make you feel my love and our magical mate bond. JK, but it's too late now, Thea. They, what do you mean by it's too late, Jungkook? They asked desperately as he grabbed Jungkook's hand, pulling him towards himself. He knew if he let Jungkook leave without trying, he would regret it for his lifetime. Jungkook's eyes were hollow. It had nothing but a blank expression, which they couldn't understand, no matter how deep he stared into Jungkook's eyes. JK, I already have a fiancé. They, fiancé? You have a fiancé? He felt like the earth slipped under his feet. JK, yeah, and it's Mingu. They, you mean that boy you're with? JK, it's him, he said as he signed. Taeyang felt like his knees got buckled. He immediately held Jungkook's hand tightly like his life depends on it. Tae, Jungkook, I know something is wrong. Tell me, did someone force you to act like this with me? Didn't they? He said, making Jungkook's eyes go wide for a second as he tried to push Taeyang away, trying to free himself from the grip. Tell me, Cookie. I promise I'll take care of everything. Just tell me what's the real reason, love. Let's fight together. he said, making a tear fall from Jungkook's eyes, making him immediately wipe it as he ran away from the sight, freeing himself from Taeyang. JK, you don't have to worry about it, Taeyang, 'cause you have done enough already. That was it. Jungkook, who promised Taeyang to love him for the eternity, left him without a clue, even before their love bloomed, even before they start to love each other properly. The pain was unbearable for Taeyang. He didn't know what he was supposed to do next. Jimin was also so worried for his young. No matter how much he asked what happened from Taeyang, he didn't got any answer, nor from Suga, which made him more worried. Taeyang couldn't make up his mind to attend to university for nearly a week. He knew he won't be able to hold himself once he saw his Jungkook with this so-called fiancé. Jungkook, on the other hand, was restless. He was the one who wanted to end their relationship even before it started, and he had a fiancée, but still he was sick worried about Taeyang and was yearning to have a glimpse of Taeyang. Every break in the uni felt like crushing his heart by his own for Taeyang, because every single interaction between Jungkook and Mingu was making Taeyang feel nothing but pain. Even Taeyang's friends could do nothing but watch his friend getting eaten by pain and jealousy. Jungkook felt desperate for Taeyang's attention. Every time him and Mingu was in the frame with Taeyang, he would secretly look at Taeyang, checking his reaction, feeling an unknown happiness which was kinda cruel, seeing how Taeyang got jealous over him, not on Jimin, nor on anybody else, but for him, purely for him, which he badly yearned for a long period of time. Jungkook himself felt like an attention-seeking, but what can he do? He couldn't stop himself from being greedy towards his mate, nor he had the power to go against his father's wish of marrying Mingu. No matter how hard he tried to force himself to not to think about Taeyang, he was still the same, the lovesick boy whom he was before. Jungkook took a deep breath as he remembered that particular night where him and Taeyang confessed to each other, that beautiful night which made his dream come true, yet the same night which destroyed everything even before their love bloomed. Yes, Jungkook's feelings towards Taeyang was never just a mere attraction. It was true love from the very beginning. But life doesn't always go smooth like planned, and sometimes you will have to cross barriers against which you will have to fight, and that's what exactly happened on that day as well. Jungkook was the happiest after meeting Taeyang that day. He was squealing in happiness when he arrived home, but this happiness didn't last long. At the very first moment he entered his house, the smile on his face vanished immediately. His eyes stared at the man who was sitting on the sofa with a dark aura, making himself feel quite powerless. And there he was, his father, sitting on the sofa while Suga was standing in front of him like he had been caught while doing something illegal, looking at the floor. The moment he entered the house, his body got chilled, feeling his father's cold gaze. JK, Appa? Jungkook asked, being surprised to see his father, who had been returned from abroad. JK, I thought you were coming next week, he asked while looking at his mother, Mrs. Jeon, who was also presented there. Mrs. Jeon, yes, Cookie, but the meeting got postponed, so we decided to come back in the meantime, she said while approaching him. Mr. Jeon, where were you? Mr. Jeon asked, cutting off the mother-son conversation in the middle, making Jungkook's blood go freeze for a moment. JK, Appa, I was with my friends. Cut off. Mr. Jeon, friends or a friend? Mr. Jeon asked, directly staring right into Jungkook's soul, making his mind go blank for a second. JK, what did you mean, Appa? He asked while flashing a nervous smile as he looked at both Suga's and Mrs. Jeon's faces in between. Mr. Jeon, what did I mean, right? He said as he approached Jungkook, who was clueless about what's happening, increasing the tension in the atmosphere. Mr. Jeon, he let out a chuckle. I didn't know you had come to an age where you can take the most important decisions by your own, without even caring to let us know, right? He asked, making Jungkook's face puzzled. JK, Appa, I don't understand anything, he said as tears started to brim in his eyes. Mr. Jeon, I'm asking about the boy whom you were making out at the club, Jungkook. Mr. Jeon shouted, making tears flow across Jungkook's chubby cheeks as he got scared and felt embarrassed out of shame hearing his father. JK, Appa, listen to me. It's not like that. He is my... Mr. Jeon, your boyfriend, isn't he? Mr. Jeon raised his voice once again, making Jungkook close his eyes, getting startled for a second. Mrs. Jeon, honey, calm down. Give him a chance to explain, please. You know he is not a child anymore. He is already in the age of finding their own mates. Mrs. Jeon came in between as she tried to cool down the atmosphere a little bit, seeing Mr. Jeon's temper. JK, Appa, forgive me. I wasn't trying to hide anything from you. He is my fated mate, and we just confessed to each other today only at the club, he said, making Mr. Jeon chuckle sarcastically at the end. Mr. Jeon chuckled once again. Wasn't he the same boy who used to fight with Suga, and the one used to insult you every time? He said sarcastically. Suga, Appa, he cut off by Mr. Jeon. Mr. Jeon, you shut up, Suga. He warned Suga, making him go silent immediately. And you, I asked you a damn question, Jungkook. He shouted with a higher pitch than usual. JK, yes, Jungkook let out, being too scared. Mrs. Jeon, oh wow, don't you have shame, Jungkook? How dare you to even think about such a boy, even after all those things he had done to you and your brother, huh? JK, Appa, believe me, he is not the one who is at fault. It's me and Young who are at the fault. It's us who bothered him. That's why he treated like that, he said as Suga stared at the floor with guilt as it was so true. Mr. Jeon, really, Jungkook? You seriously take his side now? JK, no, Appa, it's not like that, he said immediately, trying to convince. Mr. Jeon, then what said Jungkook? Do you remember how many times I had to face disrespect because of him? I even had to go to principal's office several times, letting go of my self-respect because of him and your brother. JK, but that's not a problem of him being my mate, Appa. Plus, Suga and him aren't even fighting with each other anymore. Mr. Jeon, but still, I don't want that kind of an arrogant brat to be my son's mate. And that's the end of discussion, he said, making more tears roll down through Jungkook's cheeks. Mr. Jeon, also, since you are already in the right age, I have decided to arrange a marriage with one of my best friend's sons, who had been asking for your hand since quite a while. So be ready for the marriage as soon as you're done university, Mr. Jones said as he left the place, even without giving a single glance to Jungkook, who had been crying his heart out by now. As soon as Mr. Jeon left, Mrs. Jeon immediately hugged Jungkook, consoling him. Mrs. Jeon, calm down, Cookie. Don't cry, my baby. I know it's hard to forget your favorite mate, but believe me, sometimes favorite mates are not the perfect ones, always. Look at me and your Appa. We aren't even favorite mates, but still, we were the perfect match for each other, okay? So don't cry, sweetie. It's the best for you. JK, Ioma, he continued to cry his heart out, hugging Mrs. Jeon, while Suga felt feeling helpless since he wasn't at any position to go against one of his father's decisions. And after that, Mr. Jeon's best friend, or the business partner's son, who turned out to be Mingu, decided to change his uni and come to there since he wanted to get to know Jungkook more. Everything happened so fast, which made it feel like a dream for Jungkook. Everything turned upside down in his world within less than a day. The confession which he was desperately looking for and the nightmare which he didn't want it to happen, both happened simultaneously on the same day. After thinking so much, he took a decision. He knew Mr. Jeon won't spare Taeyang if he tried to go against him, and he couldn't risk to make Taeyang lose his bright future. He knew letting go of Taeyang would be the best for all of them, even if it's not the best for him, but for Taeyang. he thought it would be, because still he doesn't had a thought about how vulnerable Taeyang is without him. He thought Taeyang hasn't started to love him that deeply like he does yet, and thought it would be easy for Taeyang to forget him and move on. But little did he know the truth, because even though Jungkook was the first to fall in love, Taeyang had fallen harder for Jungkook up to a distance that Jungkook could never imagine, and he was obsessed with Jungkook and was ready to fight anything on their way to make Jungkook his. Jungkook had become a mess, lost on his thoughts, staring at blank walls 24/7, crying his heart out in the midnights, skipping his meals frequently, which made Mrs. John worried, had become one of his daily routines. He was regretting everything he did to make Taeyang forget him every day, yet was determined to do so, which was the hardest part for him. Taeyang, on the other hand, was quite indescribable. He was clueless and had no idea about what's happening with Jungkook. He was so mad at everything, more at himself. He felt like he just got played by Jungkook, which broke his heart. He never thought the breathtaking boy who was jumping around him like a cute little bunny would be able to be this cruel towards him, ripping it into pieces. Taeyang honestly didn't had any idea about how much Jungkook affected his life until he lost him. He was devastated. He felt like his brain had stopped working. He was purely driven by the emotions which were pounding inside his heart. He wanted to hate Jungkook, but couldn't even think about it, even for a second. He never knew he loved the boy this much. He regretted everything he did to the boy, no matter how much heartbroken he was. He felt like he was tasting his own medicine. He couldn't believe how heartless he treated the boy, up to a distance that Jungkook chose to hide the fact that he was his mate. Hey, I deserve it. Taeyang let a shake breath while staring at the ceiling, lying on the bed, head up, reminiscing each and every interaction between him and the boy. A lonely tear escaped his eyes while he let out a soft chuckle. The moment Jungkook uttered, "He doesn't want any relationship with him," came to his mind. "They, you really did this to me, right, bub? Do you know how hurt I am? I feel like I'd die soon if I couldn't make you mine. What's wrong, love? Why you took such a decision suddenly?" "Jimin, young?" Jimin called out Tae as he entered Taeyang's bedroom. He could see the situation of Taeyang. He had been seeing it since almost a month now. Taeyang immediately wiped his tears as he sat on the bed. "Jimin, young, the dinner is ready." "Tae, okay, I'll come." Jimin signed, looking at Taeyang. "Jimin, young, I know it's hard, but staying like this won't do anything other than hurting yourself. I've been knowing Jungkook for quite a while now. I'm sure he has a reason for this, 'cause I also saw how much he loves you from his eyes." "Hey, you know what, Jimin? He hates me now. He's even going to marry that bastard." "Jimin, that's exactly what I'm saying. His family might have arranged his marriage, to which he can't say no." "Tae, there's something I need to clear," Tang said as he took his jacket and dashed out. "Jimin, young, where are you going? It's almost 9:30 p.m., young. Jungkook must be sleeping, young." Jimin shouted, looking at the fading figure while Taeyang left the house without even bothering to listen to him. Taeyang arrived in front of Jungkook's mansion, which was looking like a mini castle, which was guarded by two guards at the front gate. He was damn sure he wouldn't even get a chance to have a single glimpse of Jungkook if he dared to cross the main gate. Instead, he got a different idea. He jumped over the wall and entered the backyard of the garden. The mansion was kind of huge, which made him clueless about what he should do to find Jungkook's room. After a quiet struggle, he finally able to find Jungkook's room. He could see the balcony of Jungkook's room, where the curtains were dancing through the half-open windows. Taeyang entered the balcony as his gaze landed on the soft, fragile figure of Jungkook, who was sleeping soundly on the big king-size bed. His face was glowing due to the moonlight which fell through the window, making him look more eternal. The scene even made Taeyang forget the actual intention why he came while staring at Jungkook, who was sleeping peacefully without knowing a hungry pair of eyes was staring at him. Taeyang approached Jungkook as he started to adore the sharp, beautiful features of Jungkook. Taeyang was so hypnotized up to a distance that he didn't notice how his hand slowly made his way to Jungkook's chubby cheeks, slowly caressing it, removing the hair fallen onto his face. That's when Jungkook gasped, feeling the touch of Taeyang's cold hand, immediately waking him up, just to meet with a cold pair of eyes which were staring right into his eyes, piercing his soul. JK, Taeyang? Jungkook said as his breath got heavier due to the closeness. Tae, shh, calm down, sweetheart. You don't want anyone to hear us, don't you? Taeyang said while placing his index finger onto Jungkook's while fully hovering over him, kissing the afterwards. JK, what are you doing here? Tae let out a slight chuckle. Of course, for what else? Just to have a glimpse of you, love, he said in a teasing tone. JK, you aren't supposed to come here. We were done, Taeyang. Don't you remember? Jungkook said while trying to free his hand, which was pinned above his head by Taeyang. Tae, I remember everything, sweetheart, but why it feels like your body is saying otherwise? Taeyang smirked, seeing how Jungkook's body was reacting to his slight touches. JK, there's nothing like that, Taeyang. You must be mistaken, he uttered with a great difficulty. Taeyang, really? Taeyang slid his hand under Jungkook's waist, touching Jungkook's bare skin under the nightdress, passing a current through JK's whole body, wrapping his hand around Jungkook's tiny waist, which got perfectly fit on his hand, lifting him upwards, making Jungkook gasp when their bodies got touch with each other. Do you still think so? He asked Jungkook, who was speechless. You know you can tell me anything, bub, but you still love me. I can feel it. Then why do you keep lying to yourself like this? Tell me it's your father, right? What happened that night after you came home? Did he question about us? Tell me. I'm ready to meet him and ask for your hand. They asked too softly, making it hard for Jungkook to stop himself from telling the truth. I'm here. Let's figure it out. You know I love you so much, he said as Jungkook looked at the other side, avoiding Taeyang's gaze as tears slipped through his eyes. Taeyang pulled him closer as he inhaled the sweet scent, making Jungkook's eyes heavy, making his way to Jungkook's lips, almost touching them. Tae, I think I got my answer, he said with a soft chuckle, almost closing the gap between them, making Jungkook's eyes close, waiting to get touched by Taeyang's. JK, Tae? Unknowingly, as Taeyang smirked, feeling satisfied seeing the effect of Jungkook towards him. It took some serious seconds for Jungkook to make his mind to open his eyes, but by then Taeyang had already disappeared. Jungkook took a deep breath as he hid his face, feeling too embarrassed, remembering how he Taeyang's name just because of a slight touch. Meanwhile, with Taeyang on the other hand was laughing crazy like a madman. Tae, how long are you going to lie to yourself like this, Jungkooka? He said as he ran his hand through his raven locks, mumbling to himself while letting himself rest against the bike. Tae, how am I supposed to find what's wrong between us, love? Why aren't you ready to share it with me? Is this how much you trust me? I can feel your love, your care, your desire, and everything, but still you feel so distant from me. Taeyang was devastated not being able to find what one issue which kept both of them awake at night, crying endlessly, which made Jungkook feel so far to reach when he could clearly see Jungkook's endless love for him. Taeyang rolled, hearing his ringing phone in annoyance, which made him annoyed. Tae, these MFs don't even let me sleep peacefully, he cursed, seeing Yushik's name on the call ID as he glanced at the time, which denoted 8:15 p.m. Tae, Aish, how did my evening nap ended up becoming so this long, gosh? He scratched his nape as he crawled towards his phone as he finally answered it. On the call, Yunshik, Teonga, Te, MF, I can hear you. Stop shouting, you idiot, he said, frowning, getting more annoyed hearing Yunshik's voice. Yunshik, oh come on, I'm sure you also gonna yell after listening to me. Yeah, he mocked Yunshik, whatever. Yunshik, it's about your pretty boyfriend. Sorry, your ex-boyfriend, he said, making Taeyang immediately become serious. Yeah, what's it, man? Hurry up. Yunshik, wow, why so impatient? He said, teasing Taeyang more. Tae, Junshik gulped on the other side, hearing nothing but silence, understanding Taeyang is serious now. Junshik, okay, your sweetheart is at the club with his new boyfriend, looking freaking hot, and I won't think that MF would keep his hands to himself for too long as I noticed. Taeyang, silence. Junshik? Taeyang. Call got disconnected as Yunshik cursed under his breath. Taeyang immediately dashed directly to the club within seconds, surprising Yunshik and Bogum, who were present at the club waiting for Taeyang. Bogum, oh wow, he let out in surprise seeing Taeyang, making Yunshik chuckle as he glanced at his watch. Yunshik and Bogum was about to come forward towards Taeyang, but Taeyang's whole attention was on Jungkook and Mingu, who was at a corner of the dance floor, as he went straight passing Yunshik and Bogum without even sparing a single glance at them, like he had possessed by some kind of a demon, making both Bogum and Yunshik eyes go wide. Bogum, oh shit, someone's gonna get beaten up tonight, he said, seeing how serious and angry Taeyang looked. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Jungkook was emptying his coke while Mingu kept making him laugh, doing passionate dancing steps, making kind of funny facial expressions few steps away from him. Taeyang's eyes started to burn seeing Jungkook, who was laughing looking at Mingu. The next second, all Jungkook felt was someone jerking him away from the dance floor, tightly grabbing him by his toes, quite harshly, dragging him away from the dance floor, making himself blank about whatever the things which kept happening, while Mingu was distracted trying to make Jungkook laugh, later making him feel dumbfounded seeing Jungkook was not there anymore. Jungkook only saw the side profile of Taeyang, but still he recognized him within seconds. It's Taeyang, since he had wood-carved Taeyang's lethal face card in his mind, which made it impossible for him not to recognize him. The moment Jungkook's eyes paused on Taeyang's face, he felt like everything around him slowed down. He didn't even know for how long he kept being dragged by Taeyang until he was pinned on the wall, making him feel too small in front of Taeyang, who was literally looking like a Greek god with his messy hair and loose shirt which had two buttons open. Once Taeyang pinned Jungkook to the wall, he couldn't stop himself but to stare deep into Jungkook's deep ocean eyes, which was ready to immerse him inside a magical maze where they couldn't see an exit. After getting lost in Jungkook's love maze for good minutes, Taeyang chuckled sarcastically, which was filled with nothing but pain and pure hurt. He could notice Jungkook's hypnotized stare. Tae, were you ready to someone tonight? He asked as he let out a bitter chuckle once again as he pointed at Jungkook's whole dress, leaning towards Jungkook while his other hand was on the wall, caging Jungkook in between him. As he started to chuckle once again for quite longer, looking more like he had gone crazy as he ran his hand over his hair, later running his hand over his mouth like he was trying to calm himself, trying to stop himself, acting violent in front of Jungkook. Jungkook could see how hurt Taeyang was just by looking at his eyes, which looked like he would break down any time. This was the very first time Jungkook was seeing this version of Taeyang. Jungkook didn't know how he was supposed to behave in this type of a situation, because the Taeyang he used to know was a complete different person from the person whom he was seeing. The calm, contained nature had disappeared from him. He looked more like a villain who was ready to kill and die for his love. Jungkook felt sudden wave of guilt seeing Taeyang like that. He never knew he had this much of effect on Taeyang until that moment. Tae, why are you doing this, Jungkook? JK, what am I doing is my business, Taeyang. You are no one to question it, he said as he averted his gaze from Taeyang's face. Tae, oh yeah, you're correct, absolutely correct. Who am I even to you, right? He let out a bitter chuckle once again. Jungkook signed. Hey, so that means you are really going to marry that so-called fiancé, right? He asked calmly this time, to which Jungkook became speechless for a second. JK, isn't it clear already? Taeyong let out a soft chuckle once again, which kind of made Jungkook annoyed this time. JK, what the hell wrong with you, Taeyang? Why you keep chuckling to everything I say, huh? Do I look like I'm joking? Taeyang chuckled longer this time, which made Jungkook angry as he grabbed Taeyang by his collar, staring directly into Taeyang's eyes, immediately regretting his action when he noticed the way Taeyang stared back into his eyes. Jungkook got taken back seeing Taeyang's serious expression as he let out of Taeyang's collar immediately. But little did he know he was too late, cause by that time Taeyang had already locked Jungkook in between himself, leaving no space for Jungkook to leave even if he wanted to. Jungkook felt like a current passed through his body when he felt Taeyang's hand running smoothly over his back, giving him chills over again. Tae, what if I don't reject you? What are you going to do then, huh? He asked with his deep, husky voice, making Jungkook nervous. JK, still I can, right? He shuddered in between. Tae, you sure? He softly held Jungkook's chin as he made him look into his eyes, making Jungkook's eyes immediately tear. JK, I mean, yeah. Jungkook kept struggling to complete his words when his eye spotted Mingu, who was searching for him, kept coming towards them. JK, Mingu must be searching for me. I should go, he hurriedly said as he tried to push Taeyang away by placing his palm on Taeyang's hard chest. But Jungkook's push felt like a just feather touch to Taeyang, who didn't even budge from his position for a second, making Jungkook panic, knowing it's going to be a huge problem if Mingu see them being too close like that, as Jungkook started to struggle to free himself from Taeyang, since he didn't wanted any unwanted problem when he clearly knew how his father is going to react when he got to know this from Mingu. But Taeyang being Taeyang only tightened his grip on Jungkook's waist since the moment he saw the reflection of Mingu from the glass wall which was behind Jungkook. Taeyang grinded his teeth as his eyes turned blood red in anger as he heard what Jungkook mumbled. JK, Taeyang, please leave me, I'm begging you, please. Jungkook mumbled, trying to convince Taeyang, which only increased Taeyang's anger. Next second, all went blank for Jungkook when he felt Taeyang's lips on him, making him surprised plus panic at the same time. But it didn't last long when he felt someone pulled Taeyang away from him, making him stumble back due to the loss of contact. Mingu, what is going on here? Mingu asked tenderly, to which Taeyang smirked while looking at Jungkook, which clearly noticed by Mingu. Mingu, who the hell are you to kiss him, you MF? He asked as he got more angry seeing Taeyang's smirk and his I don't give a F attitude, making Jungkook more panicked. Tae, me, huh? You wanna know who am I, right? He asked while chuckling as Mingu kept looking at him impatiently with a frown, making Jungkook more tense. Tae, this MF right here is Jungkook's mate, he said while staring right into Mingu's eyes, while pointing at himself, while putting an extra stress on the word mate. Mingu, you? Mingu shouted when he remembered what Mr. Jeon told him about Jungkook's mate. The next second, Mingu punched Taeyang in face, making the side of his lip bleed a little as Jungkook jumped on the spot, because according to what Mingu heard from Mr. Jeon, Jungkook's mate was a bad-charactered person. Taeyang let out a bitter chuckle while running his thumb over his bleeding lip as he stared at the thumb, which had blood making Jungkook's heart ache. Jungkook immediately moved forward, holding Taeyang, getting worried as his hands moved to Taeyang's face unknowingly. But before Jungkook's hand reached Taeyang, Mingu was fast enough to grab him by his hand as he pulled Jungkook behind him. Taeyang's eyes darkened when his eyes landed on Mingu's hand, which was holding Jungkook's hand tightly. Taeyang grinded his teeth while looking at Mingu this time with pure anger. Tae, punching me, that's acceptable. But he averted his gaze towards Jungkook, making Jungkook feel chills down his spine. Touching what's mine, that's totally unacceptable, he said as he pulled Mingu by his collar, beating the shit out of him without even giving a chance to breathe, while Jungkook tried his best to remove Taeyang away from Mingu, only to end up getting pushed away every time, which was totally useless. JK, Young, it's urgent. Jungkook called Suga immediately without knowing what to do. Suga, what's it, Jungkook? What's happening? JK, I don't know, Young. Tae is beating Mingu and he is not listening to me, Young. Please come fast to XX Club, please. Suga, okay, calm down. I'm on my way, okay? Jungkook was crying non-stop. He could see how everyone in the club kept looking at them without even trying to stop the fight since it was the VIP section. JK, please stop it, Taeyang. Please, for my sake. Please, he will die, please. Jungkook kept pleading non-stop, which went unheard by Taeyang. Mingu was coughing blood while Tae still kept showing no mercy, like he was letting all his anger for everything from the beginning. That's when Yunshik and Bogum came running, hearing the sounds and gossips as they immediately removed Taeyang from Mingu, as Bogum locked Taeyang in his arms from behind while Taeyang kept trying to move further towards Mingu resisting Bogum. Yunshik and Jungkook immediately moved to check Mingu, who was now senseless. They dare to lay your hands on my mate again. I say I am going to kill you next time. Taeyang shouted before turning to leave, not after sparing a glance at Jungkook. But that's when someone stopped him by placing his hand on his chest, pushing him move back to his place again, making Taeyang look up to see who it was. How are you supposed to leave after creating such a huge scene? The man said as Jungkook immediately looked at the direction of the voice as he froze on the spot when he saw it was his father. Some guards entered the place as two bodyguards held Taeyang while others took Mingu to the hospital. Taeyang was about to resist when he felt a tight slap across his face, making Jungkook feel super worried about what Mr. Jeon is going to do with Taeyang. JK, Appa, Mr. Jeon, you shut up, he shouted as he looked at Taeyang, who was looking down. Mr. Jeon, I warned you once, didn't I? Mr. Jeon said, making Jungkook's eyes go wide when he realized Mr. Jeon had met Jungkook without him knowing, but still you were stubborn to go against me. Now you will see the consequences of it, Taeyang. Taeyang let out a bitter chuckle. Tae, didn't I also clearly told you, my dear father-in-law, that I won't stop without claiming my mate? He said in a challenging tone as they exchanged a heated eye contact. This time, Mr. Jeon let out a sarcastic chuckle. Mr. Jeon, hand over him to the police. He will realize what he did when he stayed within a cell for some days, he said, making Jungkook's soul leave his body for a second. JK, Appa, please don't do that, Appa. I promise I'll do anything you say. Please don't do that, Appa. I'm begging you, Appa. Jungkook kneeled in front of his father, tightly grabbing Mr. Jeon's leg, while crying his heart out, pleading non-stop, making Taeyang feel guilty at his own action. 2 days passed as Taeyang was still under remand. Mr. Jeon made sure he won't get released, not at least before a week, even though he didn't want to do anything other than that since he was also a parent. Yunshik and Bogum tried their best to hide this matter from Taeyang's parents for almost 2 days, but at the end of the second day, Mr. Kim wasn't ready to listen to them anymore as he got ready to go find Taeyang since he wasn't answering his phone, making it impossible to Yunshik and Bogum to not to tell them. When Mr. and Mrs. Kim got to know about the news, they got super worried. They couldn't even believe something like that happened to their son, who was the all-time batch top and the most responsible person whom he was always used to be. Mrs. Kim even cried non-stop since he couldn't stop thinking about Taeyang staying under police custody. Meanwhile, Jungkook's situation was getting worse. He had stopped eating since 2 days, which made everyone worried. He was punishing himself, continuously crying while lying on the bed lifeless. Mr. Jeon was aware of everything, but still, he wasn't ready to give up, not even slightly. It was the early morning of third day when the guard informed Mr. Jeon about someone's arrival. Mr. Jeon took a sip from his coffee as he went to the living room to see a couple, more like a middle-class family, as same as his age, sitting on the sofa. He could see how the woman's face had swollen, maybe due to excessive crying. Mr. Jeon, yes, do I know you? Mr. Jeon said as he approached the couple. Mr. Jeon, sorry to disturb you. I'm Kim Jae-young. This is Kim Soo-young. We are Taeyang's parents. Mr. Kim said with the most politest way possible despite of the messed up situation. Mr. Jeon, oh I see, he said calmly while analyzing Mr. and Mrs. Kim. So you guys are Taeyang's parents, right? He repeated while Mr. and Mrs. Kim gave a slight nod. Mr. Jeon, So you must be already aware where he is now and what he did, right? Mr. John said as making Mr. and Mrs. Kim look down. It wasn't hard for Mr. and Mrs. Kim to convince Mr. John to let go of Taeyang, but he agreed only under one condition. That was to agree to keep Taeyang away from Jungkook, to which they agreed. When Jungkook got to know about Mr. and Mrs. Kim's arrival, they were already getting ready to leave. Jungkook came running to the living room hurriedly when he saw Mr. and Mrs. Kim, who were ready to leave after thanking Mr. Jeon. Jungkook's eyes filled with tears immediately as he moved further closer. Mr. and Mrs. Kim looked at Jungkook, who was looking at them with an apologetical look while holding thousands of emotions. Mr. and Mrs. Kim was happy and sad at the same time when they saw Jungkook. They were surprised to see how beautiful Jungkook was, but were sad at the same time upon the realization of not being able to get him as their son-in-law. Jungkook wanted to go and talk, but didn't have courage even after everything that happened. As Mr. and Mrs. Kim left the place, Mr. Jeon, it's good Taeyang's parents were wise to understand me, unlike their stubborn son, he said little louder for Jungkook to hear as he left the living room. Taeyang, on the other hand, felt too embarrassed to face his parents after getting released. When he got to know Mr. and Mrs. Kim had to go and convince Mr. Jeon to free him, he felt guilty for making his parents apologize to Mr. Kim for his mistake. He didn't know anything to do other than apologizing to his parents. When Mrs. Kim saw how sad and sorry Taeyang was, Mrs. Kim couldn't stop herself from consoling him, letting him cry on her lap like a little baby. Taeyang's phone rang. Tae, hello? Suga. Hey, Tae, are you okay? Tae, why asking? Suga. Hey, man, don't be like this. Tae, okay. I'm okay. He simply said. Suga. Okay then. Sorry, I couldn't have reached on time. He said as he couldn't reach the club before things get worse. Cause when he arrived, Taeyang had already taken to the police. Tae, that doesn't matter now. Even if you were there, your father would have done the same. Suga signed. Suga, take care, man. Tae, They cut the call as Suga turned to Jungkook, who was listening to them with big doughy eyes. Suga, satisfied now? He said to Jungkook, who had been dying to listen to Taeyang's voice. JK, thanks, Young, he said as he hugged Suga, while Suga ruffled Jungkook's hair softly. Days passed, but Jungkook couldn't find a single clue about Taeyang, nor he had the courage to ask from Jimin when he clearly knew he was the one at fault. Taeyang had come and left uni, completely avoiding Jungkook. He could hear girls gossiping about Taeyang, topping the exams, winning against other teams, but still he couldn't even find a place where Taeyang was, not even bump into each other coincidentally. Jungkook felt restless, he felt exhausted without having a glimpse of Taeyang. He even went many times to Taeyang's class in the name of meeting Suga, but it was totally useless, which made him feel more devastated. Jungkook couldn't hold himself anymore. He knew his father had made an agreement with Taeyang's parents not to let Taeyang meet him again, which made him scared even to think about. He knew it at the very first moment he got to know about his father had let Taeyang get released. It was true he was the one who wanted to distance himself from Taeyang for the sake of Taeyang, no matter how much he would have to suffer, but he didn't want to do it anymore. He realized he is not strong enough to bear the pain anymore, especially the pain of having your loved one in front of you but still not being able to get him and thinking of him being happy with someone else. He wanted Taeyang even if it ended him as selfish. Finally, the day he has been waiting arrived. Jungkook felt giddy just by thinking about the fact that he is going to meet Taeyang. He knew no matter how much Taeyang avoided him at uni, he wouldn't be able to do it anymore, not at least for today. It was quite hard for Jungkook to convince Suga, but at the end of the day, Suga agreed to bring Jungkook to the racing track, but under so many conditions, since Suga was still kinda pissed about the fact that Jungkook did last time when he brought him to their underground racing track. Taeyang, on the other hand, had been continuous participant in the racing events which recently happened, which he indeed did to remove the frustration which kept boiling inside him in an each and every second. Focusing on the track eased his mind, especially kept his mind away from the thoughts of Jungkook. Jungkook arrived with Suga to the venue looking like a fallen angel. specially dressed to make someone go insane at the very first glance itself. Everyone at the track gasped seeing the beauty of Jungkook. He was looking so bottom materialed up to a distance that no female Omega could match. Everyone who passes Jungkook turned to look at him for a second time without a second thought. Taeyang was doing some adjustments to his bike, looking super hot in a simple baggy trouser and a body-fit shirt which completely hugged his body. He was patiently waiting for one of his trackmates to hand over a tool to him when he noticed the other one was being hypnotized staring at some direction, hanging in the air, making him look at the same direction as well, just to get frozen on his position. Taeyang's eyes sparkled for a second when his eyes fell on the heavenly figure of Jungkook, who was already staring at him from a distance. But that didn't last long when Taeyang broke the eye contact, shifting back to what he was doing like he was nothing, making Jungkook's eyes go wide in surprise. JK, rude, Jungkook mumbled to himself when he saw how smoothly Taeyang ignored him. 1 hour passed, but Taeyang was still immersed in his work so passionately, or maybe he was acting like he was, which irritated Jungkook. He was at a corner of the track which was opposite to where Taeyang was, with some Omegas. The Omegas were gossiping while Jungkook kept nodding time to time, feeling too bored, getting frustrated, since he couldn't grab Taeyang's attention ever since the moment he entered. But little did Jungkook know that Taeyang always looked at him secretly when he was lost in his small bubble, adoring him from a distance. No one would believe how bad Taeyang was struggling underneath his calm, composed nature. He was stuck in between his love and a promise he had given to his mother to stay away from Jungkook. But seeing Jungkook like this, it was making him lose his old sense, making his all hard working go in vain. For the rest of the time till the race starts, all Jungkook could do was sulking time to time, glaring at Taeyang's direction, who looked too immersed in his work and looked totally unbothered about the sulking bunny. Meanwhile, Suga couldn't stop laughing seeing Jungkook, who looked too frustrated than needed. Suga, are you going to stand here for the rest of the race, huh? Suga said, teasing while approaching Jungkook. JK, what? Does it look funny to you? Jungkook said as he stomped his leg cutely while rolling his eyes on Suga. Suga, no, but you look cute though, he said, trying so hard to stop his laughter. JK, puff. Suga, okay, I'm going to other side of the track for a minute, but don't you dare to leave here to roam till I come, okay? Suga said as Jungkook looked at the other side like he heard nothing. Suga, do you understand? JK, yeah, okay, I heard you, Young. Suga, good, he said as he left. JK, like, listen anyway, he said to himself as he averted his gaze towards Taeyang once again. That's when Jungkook heard the race call. Alright teams, grab your riding partner tonight and line up. The night is ready for the fearless. MC announced, making Jungkook's heartbeat increase as his eyes started to search for Taeyang among the people when he noticed Taeyang had already vanished from the place he was few seconds ago. JK, partner? He repeated as his eyes went wide due to the realization, making his eyes search crazily for Taeyang, making his curiosity level reach its peak since he badly wanted to find out who's gonna get paired with Taeyang for tonight's race. That's when Jungkook finally spotted Taeyang, who was already on the line, racing his bike alone, making him feel relieved for a second. But that didn't last too long. That's when a beautiful Omega girl approached Taeyang from the crowd out of nowhere. Girl, hey Taeyang, want some help? She said, making Taeyang look at her direction. Girl, come on, I know you can't deny me anyway tonight, since you don't have a race partner, she said with a smirk, making Taeyang's eyes sharpen, to which he still kept quiet. Taeyang's and Jungkook's eyes met for a second, making Taeyang's eyes narrow, making him feel Jungkook's burning gaze, which kept making holes in him. He knew accepting the girl's offer gonna trigger Jungkook, but left with no choice since he couldn't compete alone tonight, nor he had the courage to ask out Jungkook to be his partner. Tae, I guess you don't want to mess up or to test my temper tonight, so just keep your damn mouth shut till the race finish, he said to the girl, staring right back deeply into Jungkook's eyes, making Jungkook's heart drop as the girl squealed, taking the helmet from Taeyang's hand. Girl, yes Taeyang-shi, don't worry, I'll behave tonight, he said excitedly, making Jungkook clutch his dress tightly due to the too much anger. JK, how dare he? Words automatically left Jungkook's lips, making him clench his fist harder. Girl was about to wear the helmet when her hand got hauled in the midair, getting pushed away harshly, almost losing her balance as the helmet flew away from her hand, making Taeyang's eyes kinda go wide seeing it was Jungkook. JK, no way, not when I'm here, Jungkook said, pushing the girl away, warning her to stay away, making Taeyang's eyes widen further at Jungkook's boldness. Girl went speechless seeing the angry Jungkook as she slid away from the place, feeling embarrassed as Jungkook got onto bike, making Taeyang speechless. None of them uttered a single word as the situation turned awkward within every passing second. It didn't take much seconds for Jungkook to realize what he did as he immediately started to regret his decision when the MC gave the call for all the racers to line up to start the race. Jungkook cursed under his breath as he whined slightly with closed eyes, feeling frustrated and scared at the same time, remembering his bad experience from the last time with Mark. A slight smile appeared on Taeyang's eyes when he saw how Jungkook kept dwelling with his own self with closed eyes through the side mirror, who was possibly regretting his decision after being all bold few minutes ago. Taeyang raced the bike, making Jungkook come back from his world as an unknown fear rushed through his body, seeing the racers who were lined up, awaiting for the final call to start the race, making him feel more and more nervous. Taeyang immediately noticed the way how Jungkook kept struggling himself whether he should hold Taeyang or not, as Taeyang intentionally raced once again, making Jungkook's body get crushed against Taeyang with a little bit of force, making Jungkook's hands unknowingly get wrapped around Taeyang's waist. Jungkook's cheeks turned red as he closed his eyes due to shyness when he felt how his body got crushed with the masculine back of Taeyang, making Taeyang smirk, feeling satisfied when Jungkook's delicate hands clutched onto his jacket, wrapping his hands around his waist like his life depends on Taeyang. Taeyang could feel Jungkook's breath getting heavier as he could feel Jungkook's body against him, while Jungkook on the other hand couldn't think straight as his intrusive thoughts started flooding when his hands felt the hard abs of Taeyang. Jungkook bit his bottom lip harshly as he tried to stop himself from imagining further as Taeyang mumbled, "They, cute." He kept smiling like a fool beneath his full-face helmet as he took one more glance of Jungkook from the side mirror before the race starts. Gun fired indicating the start of the race as all the bikes slide along the road with the full speed. Jungkook didn't know when his fear slowly started to fade away, making him enjoy the ride as he started to feel the movement, which felt too exciting than his previous ride with Mark, which was exactly not a good one. Jungkook couldn't stop himself from feeling amazed how skillful Racer Taeyang was. His moves were too smooth and felt mind-blowing. Jungkook had no wonder how Taeyang always stopped each and every race, seeing how smoothly and professionally he handled the bike. Taeyang felt like his energy had got doubled tonight, and there was no doubt about the fact that the reason behind it was exactly Jungkook. And he was way more competitive as well, since there were no way he was planning to lose tonight, especially when it is his first ride with his Jungkook. Taeyang won like always as he rode indicating his victory as they approached the finishing line. Jungkook was about to get down from the bike when Taeyang locked his hand with his hand without letting him free Taeyang as he started to bike, once again riding out of the track, moving further away from the track in the moonlight under the night sky, making Jungkook confused since he had no clue where Taeyang was taking him. More than 15 minutes passed when Taeyang finally stopped his bike, making Jungkook's eyes shine at the sight. Taeyang chuckled, seeing surprised face of Jungkook, who kept adoring the sight of the whole city from the top of the hill. Jungkook was too busy admiring the wave when Taeyang back-hugged him, placing his chin on Jungkook's shoulder, inhaling his sweet scent. Tae, you have no idea how much I missed you, Taeyang said as he took Jungkook's scent in one breath, making Jungkook feel shivers down his spine. Jungkook's breath hinged when Taeyang started to nibble his neck as he slowly started to place slow slide along Jungkook's neck, making his body feel numb. A moan escaped Jungkook's lips unknowingly as he immediately covered his mouth, feeling embarrassed, making Taeyang smirk. Tae, no need to hide your beautiful from me, love, 'cause anyway you are going to end up. My name only, Taeyang continued, making Jungkook's eyes closed. Jungkook felt like he could stay forever in Taeyang's arms like that. It was what he had been yearning for so long. It was the reason why he came to the race even, to claim his love. But finally, when he is about to get what he wants, some part of his heart kept dragging him down, reminding him about his father and how he is going to lose his father's trust and love, which he can never think of losing. Jungkook let out a shaky breath as he finally detached himself from Taeyang, as his knees almost dropped, making Taeyang to catch him out of worry. Taeyang's heart ached, seeing the teary eyes of his lover, who was trembling in his arms, as Taeyang's eyes also teared up, seeing his love in this state. Tae, why are you so stubborn, love? Why don't you share your pain with me when I can clearly see what you are trying to hide from me? Why are we even suffering like this when we can clearly find a solution, but we try to figure out a way out of this mess? Okay, how am I supposed to explain this to you, Tae? How? I love my father so much, but I also love you so damn much up to a distance that I can't imagine a life without you. Jungkook broken down in Taeyang's arms, making Taeyang's eyes soften. JK, I don't want to marry Mingo. I want to marry you, only you. But you know, my father will never agree to this. He will always think the same about you. I don't know how all these things went this deep, but in his perspective, you are an irresponsible jerk who used to create fights with my young, harm his image, disrespecting him. There. Shh, love, calm down. You know it's totally my fault. It's all because of how I used to make him feel about me. Believe me, let me try again. Let me show who I am truly. Okay? He said while kissing Jungkook's back. Messenger knew Jungkook wasn't with Suga. The moment Jungkook stepped out with Suga, he knew what was on Jungkook's mind. But still, he couldn't be so cruel enough to stop him or to force him to stay at home. Definitely not after seeing how lifeless Jungkook looked for the past few days. Jungkook's mental breakdown was more than obvious for Mr. Jeon. He was clearly aware about Jungkook's situation, how he used to curl up on Mrs. Jeon's lap, moaning, weeping, breaking himself on Mrs. Jeon's arms at midnight, suffering way too much, telling how much he loved Taeyang, which was quite painful for him no matter how determined he was to break their relationship, and he knew better than anyone where would Jungkook go as soon as he got a chance to slip away from his grave, which was way more obvious by now. Mr. Jeon was staring at the front gate from the balcony window when Mrs. Jeon approached him. Mrs. Jeon, what's wrong with you, honey? I don't understand you anymore. When you clearly know it was our Suga who used to initiate fights with that boy, then why you still act like he's the one who's at fault? Don't think I'm taking Jungkook's side, but to be honest, I believe he is not a bad person, 'cause from the way Jungkook used to describe him, I think he is one of the best Jungkook could ever find, and I can't see my child suffering like this anymore. Mrs. Jeon, it seems like Jungkook had felt nonsense about that boy into your head. That's why you are talking like this, taking his side like this. Mrs. Jeon, signs. Honey, believe me, he might be a middle-class boy, but he is good from his heart and also a responsible alpha whom we can rely on for our Jungkookie. And they are fated mates too. And don't forget, Suga's mate is Taeyang's brother as well. There must be a reason why Moon Goddess has chosen them. You need to understand, not everyone worked out successfully like we did. Mr. Jeon, I know our story was different, but Mrs. Jeon, but what? Mingu will be able to give him a luxurious life, but do you think he will be able to heal Jungkook or to love him like Taeyang does? Mr. Jeon, I'm doing this for him, Somi. Why you also try to make me feel like I'm a villain who destroy his life completely? Mrs. John, that's the truth, honey. That's what you are exactly doing. I still can't believe you turned out to be like this. Mrs. John, can you remember what you used to tell? I feel like you have been a reason to worsen things, Suga and that boy back then as well. Mrs. John, don't you remember how you used to compare our Suga with Taeyang and used to scold him, asking him to look at Taeyang and learn? Now where's those good qualities when the same boy turned out to be Jungkook's mate? She said in disappointment. Jeon, he was a better competitor for Suga, but that doesn't make him a good mate for my Jungkook. Mrs. Jeon, but how can we decide it when we don't give them a chance, honey? You never cared about status, that's why you agreed to marry me on the first place. So why now troubling them? Why can't we give them time to decide for themselves? That's when Taeyang's bike stopped in front of Jungkook's house. Taeyang kissed Jungkook's hand since it was the time for Jungkook to get off and go inside before someone see them. But Jungkook wasn't ready to let go of Taeyang. He hugged Taeyang as he spent some more minutes clinging to Taeyang like he wouldn't be able to breathe if he let go of Taeyang without knowing two pair of eyes were watching them. Mr. Jeon let out a deep sigh as he closed his eyes while taking a deep breath. Tae, love, it's time for you to go up. Now get up, or else we will get caught, he said, whispered softly. Jungkook, no Alpha, I want to stay longer. I want your warmth more, he said, hugging Taeyang's back more tightly, making Taeyang chuckle more softly. Tae, we will meet tomorrow. I guarantee you, I'll somehow manage to see you tomorrow, okay? Now get up like a good boy, he said when a deep husky voice interrupted them, making Jungkook immediately jump in the spot. Mr. John, let him stay more. He looks peaceful after a quiet while. JK, Appa, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Jungkook immediately held Mr. John's hand, begging him as Taeyang also get off his bike, as a sudden chill went down his spine seeing Mr. John there. Tae, Uncle B, Mr. John. No need, I saw everything I need to see, he said, making Jungkook and Tae panic and feel embarrassed at the same time. Mr. Jeon, Jungkook, go inside. I want to speak with Taeyang, Mr. Jeon said, making Taeyang kinda scared for the first time in front of Mr. Jeon. JK, Appa, please. I might fold Appa. Please don't scold him, Appa. Jungkook begged, making Mr. and Mrs. Kim's and Taeyang's heart melt. Jeon, Taeyang, I want to ask you some questions, he said, making Jungkook freeze on the spot. Tae, yes, uncle, sir. Mr. Jeon, do you truly love my son? He asked, making Jungkook's eyes widen this time. Tae, yes, sir. I love him more than I could ever imagine, up to distance that I can't imagine a life without him, Taeyang said with utmost confidence, making Jungkook cry silently. Mr. Jeon, what guarantee do I have that you won't act furious like last time in the club, creating unnecessary fights? Tae, sir, believe me, I will never ever even think of something like that in the future. I swear on my love, sir, I'm ready to do whatever it takes to make Jungkook mine, Taeyang said desperately. Mr. Jeon, if so, then show me what you can do for him. Be a responsible person and get stable. Show me that you can handle my son. Then I can trust you with him with no doubt, Mr. Jeon said, making Jungkook's eyes full with happy tears as he hugged Mr. Jeon tightly. JK, Appa, thank you so much, Appa. Mr. Jeon, wait, I didn't give the approval yet, so don't be so happy, okay? He said, making a face. First, Taeyang have to show me he's worthy to have you, and if he able to do so, then I'll think about my decision, Mr. Jeon said, placing a kiss on Jungkook's forehead, making both Mrs. Jeon and Taeyang smile in happiness. Tae, I won't disappoint you, sir. Mr. Jeon, and also, no need to call me like that anymore. Just call me Dad. But remember, your one single mistake will make you lose the right to call me Dad again, okay? He said, making Taeyang nod with happy tears as Mr. Jeon pat his shoulder. And one more thing, make sure you clear out things with Suga as well, okay? Suga, we already sorted things out, Appa. All we wanted was your approval only, he said as he also joined them as he hugged Taeyang, congratulating him. After some time, JK, so you hurt my dad, didn't you? Jungkook said sassily, looking at Taeyang. If you want me, then you gotta work hard, okay? He said while flexing his imaginary nails, making Taeyang laugh at his cuteness. Tae, of course, my highness, I understood very well that I have to work hard in order to make you mine, he said chuckling. Tae, but before I start working hard, I need some energy to fill me, so will you give me that? He said as he pulled Jungkook closer, placing a soft on Jungkook's forehead and later sharing a passionate, sealing their love.